Today's video, I really need to talk to us about some of the things you need to be doing, because it turns out that most of us do not really know or have the right information to help us know exactly what we should be doing at a certain point in our pregnancy. So guys, in today's video, we're going to be concentrating more on the 20-week mark. Now, once you're 20 weeks pregnant, there are a couple of things you should not be doing. There are a couple of things you should be doing. So without further ado, let's dive right into the video. Very first thing you need to stop doing while you're 20 weeks or above is to stop taking folic acid. Yes, I said it. Folic acid is not to be taken anything above 13 weeks of pregnancy. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is folic acid is best suited for people who are 13 weeks pregnant or under the 13-week mark. Now, folic acid is basically meant for your baby's brain development. Now, anything above the 13-week mark, your baby's brain is already developed and your baby is now in need of more nutrients. Your baby is in need of extra additional nutrients, and we all know that folic acid can only do as much. So you need to incorporate other very vital nutrients to your diet to help your baby to develop properly. And also, part of the reason why you need to incorporate other nutrients into your diet is just to avoid being deficient yourself, because most times when we are not taking the right nutrients, our body tends to take that nutrient from us and offer to the baby. At the end of the day, after you give birth, you find out that you are now down with a lot of deficiencies that you probably didn't even have or wouldn't have been predisposed to if you had taken your multivitamins seriously. So guys, when I'm talking about prenatal multivitamins, there are so many in the market. There are so many you can get, and the price range differs, and what they contain also differs. Now, there are so many prenatals in the market today that contain iron. So many of them contain omega-3 acid. Now, omega-3 is very important also for your baby's development. So it's like an added force. When you're buying your prenatal, you should make sure it contains the right type of nutrients. Whatever prenatal you decide to take eventually, you should try to make sure that it contains the vital nutrients and vitamins that you need for the particular stage of pregnancy you are currently in. You should also try to make sure that when you're buying your prenatal, it should contain iron and omega-3. Those two are very important while choosing a multivitamin during pregnancy. So guys, the second most important thing to include in your routine is the intake of calcium supplements. Now, this has to be prescribed to you by your doctor, because your doctor would know the exact dosage you're going to be needing. This way, it's going to prevent depletion of bone during pregnancy. That way, you won't be ending up with waist pain or leg pains, after you give birth to your baby. And sometimes, due to the calcium deficiency some women go through, they experience tooth decay. Yes, lack of calcium during pregnancy can cause you tooth decay, and let me tell you, tooth decay is not for the weak. That is one of the side effects of pregnancy that I find incredibly amazing. I find it so uncomfortable, because what do you mean that because I'm growing a baby I'm going to lose my teeth if my calcium for some reason isn't meeting up? You mean if I don't take extra calcium, I might lose my teeth or the ability to bend down whenever I want to pick up something? So, guys, there are a lot of side effects that can come from not having enough calcium in your diet or not having a calcium supplement. These are some of the minute things that could happen due to the lack of calcium. These are not even the major ones. You can either get your calcium from your food or you can get it from the supplements. Now, from the food, you can increase the intake of things like yogurt. You can take more bone broth. If you do not know where to get bone broth, you can easily make bone broth at home by just buying the carcass of the meat from the market, Come home, cook it with a variety of vegetables, the vegetables you like, things like onions, carrots, cabbage, spring onions. Cook it with things like that for at least an hour and then strain out that liquid and drink it. You can decide to take this daily, you can decide to take it morning and night. And if you're going the tablet route, you should definitely consult your doctor because doctors are more suited to give you the right prescription when it comes to anything that has to do with medication during pregnancy. Number three thing you need to do when 20 weeks pregnant or above is to make sure you are observing yourself for swelling. Now, swelling of the feet is something that is very common in this side of the country when it comes to, being pregnant, or is something that is very common amongst pregnant women. But it can be avoided or at least managed if you notice it on time. So you need to start observing your leg to know when your leg starts swelling. And sometimes this swelling could not just be a sign of water retention, it could also be a sign of diabetes. So you need to be very mindful and very watchful so that you do not miss the early signs that could help you have a better rest of period of pregnancy. So the fourth thing you need to do once you are 20 weeks pregnant is to go for your anomaly scan. Ladies, yes. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Go for that scan. That scan can save you a whole lot of stress after the pregnancy. And this is considered very important. In my opinion, I consider this very important if you are in your 30s and you are pregnant, especially if your partner is above 40. The risk of having complications is higher. The risk of deformities with the baby is higher. I understand the fear. I understand that nobody is praying for a deformed baby, but you need to be prepared just in case. Yes, there's that 1% out of 100, but you need to be prepared. Any woman that is above 35 should definitely take that scan serious because it could save you a whole lot of mental stress eventually after delivery. So, guys, another important thing you need to do when 20 weeks pregnant or above, you need to start paying attention to how often and how strong your baby's kicks are. Now, if you are a seasoned mom, you're going to notice that your baby would have started kicking from around 16 weeks. But if this is your first pregnancy, you should start noticing the baby's kick from about 20 weeks. Now, some people might liken the baby kicks to like a little flutter, but those kicks have to be present and you need to know how many times in a day your baby kicks. This way, whenever you go for your antenatal, it will help your doctor to know if your baby is developing properly, if your baby is as active as the baby should be according to the week you are in. Now, this particular thing I'm about to say is something that I know will be difficult for a lot of pregnant women to do once they are 20 weeks and above, because this is a time when your cravings are at its peak. This time is when you want to eat whatever. This time is when your baby has so much opinion on what you would eat and what you would not eat. So it's very important that we take this seriously. At this stage of pregnancy, you need to cut down the intake of sugar. Yes, you need to cut down the intake of sugar. I know cravings are real. I know cravings can be very uncomfortable, especially when you are trying not to give into it. So, guys, this is the time when you need to cut down your sugar intake. The last thing you need to take into consideration once you are 20 weeks pregnant is the level of activity you are doing. You need to become active. You need to take your exercise very seriously. Now, exercising doesn't mean you might have to go to the gym. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to start running a marathon. I mean, you need to become active. You need to move more. You need to, you know, get that sweat out, one way or the other. If it's rearranging, if it is nesting, if it is walking, whatever you can do to help you get active, my dear, do it. If it is to rearrange the room, do it. Get active. So this will keep your body in a very active stage and help make childbirth easier. One of the active moves that I highly recommend is squatting. Now, you can decide to do 20 squats in the morning, 20 in the afternoon, and 20 in the evening. This helps to loosen your pelvic floor, help prepare the area for childbearing. Now, if you probably, oh, I do not know how to squat, or I find squatting to be stressful or overbearing, then you should learn bending down while sweeping. Now, I know this is not going to be fun. I know it's not going to be the most enjoyable routine. Squatting while doing your chores can go a long way in helping you to loosen up the muscles, loosen up the pelvic floor, and prepare you for birth. So, ladies, with all these that I have said, I believe that we are all going to start incorporating them into our pregnancy journey. It's going to be all congratulations and nothing less than congratulations. Thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Do not forget to comment on this video, like, and subscribe to my channel. See you guys on the next one. Bye.